So if you like, you can bring the soles of the feet together and have your knees out wide. If that's not comfortable, if that's too much stress on either the lower back or the hips, then just stretch your legs out. Place your hands on your belly, soften the shoulders down into the ground. Lift your hips, just tuck the tailbone under so that more of your lower back is in connection with the floor. So you're not arching too much in the lower back. And then I want you to imagine someone's placing a heavy blanket on the lower body, and that's pushing the knees down and out to the side so that there's this heavy weight almost over the knees and the inner thighs. Just allow the movements of the belly underneath the hands. Starting to notice how the body responds to the inhale and the exhale, how the body reacts, how the body moves with the breath. And that's what we're trying to do with our yoga practice. We're trying to synchronize the two, our movements and our breath. Calming the nervous system down by controlling and slowing down the breath. Not manipulating, so not forcing, but just letting the breath slow down. And as we go through the practice, the breath gets slower. Maybe we're able to hold the breath longer. Making sure the inhale matches the length of the exhale. So the breath is an even breath. And now I want you to turn the volume of the breath up. So just encourage a bigger breath. Start to notice the belly expand more. And the navel draw into the spine on the exhale. Softening through the shoulders. So just see if your shoulders are trying to lift off the ground. If there's tension in the fronts of the shoulders, try and pull the shoulder blades back. So pull your shoulder blades down into the mat. And then cactus your arms out to the side, lift the knees up to the ceiling, plant the feet down to the floor, and just rock your knees from left to right. So both sides, just rocking through the hips, rocking through the lower back. And then hugging the knees into the chest. Give yourself a gentle squeeze, pull the knees in, lift your chin and your chest up, and then rock to a seated position. So come up, cross the legs, sit nice and tall, place the hands on the knees. Draw your shoulders up to the ears and then set them all the way down. Draw your shoulders up to the ears and then take them down. One last time, draw your shoulders up and then exhale, take them down. Right hand comes out to the side, so just rest your right hand out to the side, reach the left arm up as tall as you can, stretch through that left side, and then side bend over to the right. Open out that left side of the waist. Rotations through your left wrist. So just stay there, trying to stretch open through the rib cage. Trying to lengthen. And then switch. So take that hand down, left hand out to your side now, right arm up to the sky. Stretch open that right side. So you're trying to fan open the rib cage, trying to find space between the ribs, and then just roll that right wrist. And then bring it back to center. Rest the hands to the knees, chin into the chest. So touch your chin all the way down. And then take your right ear to your right shoulder. Look all the way up to the sky. Left ear, left shoulder. And chin back into the chest. Go one more that way. So roll your head over to the right. Stretch and open through the neck. And bring your chin back into the chest. Hold it there. And then go the other way. Left ear, left shoulder. Open all the way around. And chin back into the chest. One more. And chin back into the chest. Come forwards with the hands. Take your hands to the top of the mat and step your knees back. So you have hands under the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. Pull your navel into the spine so there's some engagement and support around the center of the body. Inhale, send your chest forward, send your tailbone back, gaze forwards. Exhale, chin in, round through the spine. So really find space through the shoulder blades. Inhale, stretch it forwards. Exhale, arch and round through the spine, tailbone tuck, chin in. Two more, inhale forwards, opening up around the back of the hips, the tailbone, the sacrum. Exhale, arch through the spine. This last one will be your biggest stretch. So take a full long inhale, open the chest wide across the collarbones. Exhale, round through the spine, tuck your toes, lift your hips up, stretch into downward facing. So push your heels away, pedal on the spot. Just rock your hips from side to side. So as you just sway your hips around, feel the stretch around the hips and the lower back. Give your head a shake, a nod, releasing the jaw. And then bend your knees. Slowly walk your feet in towards your hands, bringing them all the way forwards. Upper body relaxes down and heavy. So really bend your knees so much that your hands very comfortably come down to the floor. And then lift the front of your feet off the ground. So I'm lifting my toes, so I'm just balancing on my heel. Slide your hands underneath your feet. So your fingers point back to your heels and you're stepping on your hands. Push your big toe down into the base of your thumb. So compress into the hands. Now try and lift your hips, stretch through the back of the body. Stretch and distract through the joints at the base of the wrist. And then slowly let that go. Release the arms, pull the chin into the chest and roll the spine all the way up. Slowly coming up. Take your arms to the ceiling, inhale. Exhale, arms down by the side. Bring them behind the back, interlace the fingers and stretch the fingers away from you. Open the chest, open the front of the body. Try not to let the shoulders slide up. Try and draw the shoulders down. So we create lots of space across the top of the shoulders. Bend your knees. Forward fold, keep the hands interlaced, reaching up behind you as you come down into that forward fold. Let the belly rest to the thighs. So again, bend the knees. Let the head relax. Hands keep reaching up, feet pushing down, and then slowly let go of the interlace. Bring your hands down to the floor and step back into downward facing dog. Breathe in. Breathe out, one, push into the hands. Breathe in. Breathe out, two, push into the back of the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale, three, lift your hips up to the sky. Inhale. Exhale, four, push the heels down. Last breath. And then reach your right leg up to the sky. Stretch that right heel high, bend your right knee, open your right hip. You can stay there in stillness, or if you'd like to mobilize that right hip, then draw big circles with the right kneecap. So just moving into the right hip socket, big rotations. You might want to take those both ways so you don't get set on moving in one direction. And then bring that right knee into the chest. First of all, just hold the right knee in close towards you. Start to build some upper body strength, some strength through the center of the body. The more you can round into your upper back, the easier it is to step that right foot forward. So place it down, rest your back knee, and inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Lift your arms up, hands into a prayer position, biceps either side of the ears, and then move forwards into that left hip. See how much space you can find into the hips, into the chest and shoulders. So keep reaching the hands up to the sky, open more through the front of the body. See how much space there is there, stretching the body weight forwards, and then take your hands down. Keep the left hand to the floor, reach that right arm up to the sky, lift your right fingertips up. Lift the right fingers, lift away from the left hand. Reach that right arm back so there's a twist and an opening across the chest. Big long line through the front of the body. Inhale. Exhale, bring that right hand back. Step into downward facing dog. Just notice if you can see the difference between the hips, through the shoulders, pushing into the hands. Left hand side, so inhale, big long stretch. As you're reaching that leg up, try and point the toes back. Bend the knee, open the hip. And you might want to stay there, so you might just concentrate on the balance through the hands, the strength through the upper body, or you can draw those circles, mobilizing the left hip. The more movement we have through the hips, then the less pressure on the lower back. Make sure you're going both ways if you're choosing to mobilize and open. Then bring that left knee in, hold it nice and close. So think about transferring the weight a little bit further forwards into the shoulders, into the wrists, round the upper back, and then step that left foot forwards. Rest your right knee down. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. So lift and lengthen. Reach up through the hands, tall through the side of the body. And then hands into prayer. Slowly move forwards into the hip and the shoulders. Breathe in. Let your exhale take you a bit deeper. Inhale to prepare. Exhale deeper. Inhale, breath. And exhale. Both hands come down. The right hand stays there, and then the left arm reaches back up to the sky, open the chest. So first of all, just a twist, and then we kind of let that top arm lean back and open more across the chest. So really stretch open through that left shoulder. Keep moving the right hip forwards. And then left hand down. Step into your downward facing dog. Reaching the hips high up to the sky. Pulling the navel in, pulling the waist in. Forwards to a plank position. Keep the arms straight, keep your toes tucked. Just let your hips lower down, gaze forwards. A variation of your up dog, upward facing dog. Stretch the front of the body. Rest the knees, sit back to a child's pose. Waist in, hips all the way back to the heels. So lengthen back into your child's pose. And just sway from side to side. Massaging into the front of the body. Stretching the lower back. Stretching the shoulders. Make sure your shoulders aren't hugging your ears. 2 more breaths in and out. Breathe in and out. Push into the hands. Rise up to all fours, hands and knees. Bring your shoulders over your wrists. Toes tuck. Lift it back, downward facing. So lengthening through the backs of the legs. Comfier in your downward dog now. We've warmed and opened through the body. Soften the knees a little so your belly will rest slightly to the thighs. And then lift your hips and straighten the legs. So almost like there's a little bounce in your downward dog. Bend the knees, rest your belly to the thighs, and then lift the hips and straighten the legs. One more, bend and soften the knees, bounce a little in the lower body, and then straighten the legs, lift the hips. Right leg high, inhale. I just want you to reach the right leg up towards the ceiling. Concentrate on pushing down through both hands. So anchoring through the hands, spreading the weight evenly through the heel, the knuckles, the fingers. And then pull your right knee into the chest. Step your right foot forwards and turn your left toes just a little out to the side. Heel comes down to the ground. Rise up, warrior one. Reach your arms up to the sky. Keep lifting the chest forward. So try not to let that left hip open too much to the left. Try your best to keep the left hip coming forwards. Chest lift, side of the waist lengthens. Take an inhale and an exhale. One more breath in. Straighten the right leg. So both legs are straight. Now reach the body forward. So stretch your body as far forwards as you can go with the spine straight. And then let the fingertips come down to the ground. If you need to bend your front knee slightly. If you can straighten, then straighten, but it doesn't make any difference really. You're still lengthening the backs of both legs and you're still lengthening through the spine. If you have blocks, it's quite nice to use blocks. It gives you a bit of an elevation. If you don't have blocks, just use your fingertips. And then eventually, as you open more through the back of the body, your hands can come down to the ground. Breathe in. Breathe out one. Breathe in. Breathe out two. Look to the top of your mat. Bend the back knee and take it all the way to the floor. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky. Lift nice and tall. Hands into a prayer position. Take your left elbow or tricep outside of your right knee and twist. So looking up to the ceiling, spiral your rib cage up towards the ceiling. Gaze over your right elbow. And instead of being really close to your hands, I want you to almost pull your chest back. So you create space between the chest and your hands. So there's opening through the front of the body. One last breath in and breath out. Look down to the floor. Take both hands down, keep the left knee down and stretch your right leg all the way back. So kick your right leg back into space. Toes pull back to the face. You're just kicking that right heel away. From here, I'm going to take a half push-up. So lean your body forwards, shoulders come over the wrists. Keep that back leg lifted, lower halfway in the elbow. So strengthen the upper body. And then push the ground back away. One more time, lower halfway. And then push into the ground. Place your right knee down. Lower all the way to the ground, so both knees lower all the way to the floor. Hands stay where they are. Legs zip together, make them strong. Open the chest, pull the shoulders back. Exhale, float the chest back down to the floor. Toes tuck. Move back into your downward facing, so stretch your hips back and up. Inhale. Exhale, one. Just look to your hands. Check that first finger isn't lifting off the floor. Spread all 10 fingers into the ground. And then when you look to your feet, I want your ankles and your toes to be in line. So make sure your toes aren't sticking out to the side. Make sure your toes and your ankles are running parallel. Left hand side, inhale, sweep that left leg up to the sky. Concentrate on just lifting through that left leg. So lengthening up through the left leg. Strength needed in the back of that left hip. And then pull your left knee in. Step forwards. You're turning your right toe slightly out, bringing the right heel down to the ground. Warrior one, reach the arms up to the sky. So you're lifting through the chest. If it feels really tight in your lower back, if it feels a bit too much in your lower back, just make sure your feet aren't on a tightrope. So you want them to be kind of on ladder's width rather than on one line. So you're not pinching in the lower back. Breathe in. Breathe out. Straighten your left leg. Now reach and lengthen the body forward. So stretch as far forwards as you can. Keep reaching. Hands come down to blocks or to the ground. If it's too intense, let that front knee bend. Draw the navel in. Shoulders relax. Head relaxes forwards. And see if you can engage that front thigh, especially if your left leg is straight. Make sure it's not straight because it's just locked out. I want it to be straight because you're engaging through the thigh. Breathe in. Breathe out one. Breathe in. And soften two. One last breath. Exhale, look to the top of the mat. Bend your right knee, take it all the way down to the ground. Inhale, reach your arms up to the sky, lift up nice and tall. Exhale, right elbow outside of left thigh, so we twist. Opening the chest. So lifting your chest to the sky and then slightly trying to lean the body back away from the hands so that we're not all up and squashed at the front of our body. Lean back, make some space between the hands and the chest. Breathing in and breathing out. Look down to the ground. Take both hands down. Your right knee this time stays there. Take your left leg all the way to the back of the mat and kick that left heel away. So stretch your left heel back. Lean the shoulders forwards over the wrists. Half a push-up, so lower down. Take the weight through the hands, the shoulders, and then push into the mat to lift the chest back up. Lower down once more. And then push into the mat to push back up. Both knees together. Lower all the way down to the floor. Bring it down to the ground. Point your toes together. Squeeze the legs together. Inhale, lift the chest, look forwards. Exhale, lower. Toes tuck. Knees bend. Stretch back into downward facing. Lifting the hips to the sky. Really lengthening through the body. Push your right hand down into the floor and push your left foot into the floor. So anchor through the right hand and the left foot. Feel that real stretch into the left calf. And then swap it over. So now really push into the left hand and really push into the right foot. So opposite hand, opposite foot. Really push. And then bring it back. Balance things out. So same pressure through both hands, through both feet. Inhale. And exhale. Look to the top of the mat. Take a big step, right foot all the way in between the hands. Rise up, high lunge. Reach up to the sky. Lift up through the arms, through the chest. And then take your right arm forwards, left arm back, warrior two. So turn your left toes out and open wide across the arms. So find as much space as you can across the arms. Really pull them wider. If you Try and stretch the arms out. You can almost feel like a neural stretch in the shoulders and the biceps. So really try and open it out. And then look down to the inside of the right foot. Take your right hand all the way down to the floor and reach your left arm over to the top of the room. So turn the left palm so it faces to the ground, stretching through that left side of the body. See if you can sit a little lower in that right knee. So challenge yourself, challenge that right thigh. And then bring the left hand down next to the right hand. Walk your hands to the long side of the mat. Bring your right toes with you, so both toes face in. Fold forward, soften the knees, and hold opposite elbows. So you're holding and supporting, almost cradling the weight of the upper body. If your elbows happen to touch the floor, I want you to make the stance of your feet narrower. So bring your feet in. If your elbows touch the floor, then you've nowhere to go. So you want to make sure there's always somewhere for you to lengthen the spine towards. Breathe in and breathe out. Take the hands down to the ground. Walk to the back of your mat. So place both hands either side of the left foot. Step your right foot next to your left foot. Bend the knees nice and deep and reach the arms, sit into a chair. Pull your belly button in. So you're slightly lengthening the tailbone. So you feel the work through the back. Try and lift your chest a little. So try and sit slightly taller in your chair. Inhale. Exhale, fold all the way down. Step the right foot back and then the left foot, find a plank position. Hold that plank nice and strong. So pushing into your hands, drawing the navel to the spine. Take your feet as wide as the mat, so you're wider through the feet. Rock both heels to the left and your toes to the right. Reach your right arm up to the sky for a side plank for one breath. Exhale, right hand down. Downward facing dog. Stretch the hips back. Lift the hips to the sky. Inhale, take your left leg high. So reach that left leg up to the sky. Pull your left knee into the chest. Step it as far forwards as you can. Rise up, high lunge. So reaching your arms up. Lifting and lengthening through the side of the body. Stretching through the fingertips. Inhale. Exhale, one. Inhale. Exhale, two. Left arm reaches out in front of you. Turn your right toes out to the side, warrior two. So stretch open in that warrior two. Keep your torso where it is, so don't move your torso. Just try and stretch your left fingertips a little further forwards, and then stretch your right fingertips a little further back. One more breath. Exhale, take your left hand down to the inside of the left foot and reach your right arm all the way over. So stretching through that right side. And then see if you can sit lower in the hips. Breathing in, breathing out. Remember about that steady breath. Right hand comes down to the floor. Walk the hands around again to the long side of the mat. Both toes face the side of the room. Reach your arms out in front of you so we have that wide downward facing dog. So hands stretch out just like they would in your normal downward facing. And you're pushing the hips back and up as you normally would, but your legs are wide, so there's more inner thigh stretch, as well as down the backs of the legs. Breathe in. Breathe out 1. Inhale. Exhale 2. Last breath. And 3. Walk your hands in closer towards you. Turn to face the right foot. Walk your hands to the top of the mat. Step your left foot next to the right foot. Bend your knees and sit to a chair. So reach your arms out in front of you. Lift up through the spine. Stay with a bend in the knees, a depth in the hips. Tuck your tailbone. So just make sure you're not sticking your hips out behind you. And then stand tall. Close the eyes. Rest your arms down by the side. Soften the shoulders. Breathe in all the way to the top of the lungs. And sigh the breath out. 1 more like that. So breathe in all the way to the top. And sigh all the way out. Bring the hands to prayer heart center. Lift your right knee into the chest. So pull that right knee into the chest. Keep the knee bent. Pull the toes back to the face. So you have a right angle at the knee and then a right angle at the ankle. Now keep the position of the leg. You're just going to tilt the body forwards and send that right leg back behind you. So now the heel, the sole of your foot is kicking up to the ceiling. So a bit stronger than our typical warrior 3. Now I want you to take the arms out to the side of the room. So reach your arms out to the side. Draw your shoulders back. So feel engagement through the back of the shoulders. And hold it here for 3. Breathe for 2. On 1, step your right foot just behind your left foot. So we're standing tall and I've just slid that right foot behind my left. Now chin to chest, roll down through the spine. So it's just going to change slightly where we feel the stretch through the back of the body and the legs. If it's too much, soften your knees. Let the body fold down. Relax the head. Lengthen through the crown of the head to the floor. Send your weight into the toes. Let the hips lift. Let the heels lift slightly. Look beyond the top of the mat. Reach your hands out in front of you. And then stretch that right leg all the way back up to the sky. So supported warrior 3. Still balancing on the left leg. So starting to feel the work and the load through that left leg. Kick your right leg further back. And then step both feet together. Bend into the knees, forward fold. Wrap the arms around the backs of the legs. Give yourself a big hug. Pull the chin into the chest. Let go of the arms. Curl up through the spine. So take your time. Belly button in. Tailbone tucks under. Rolling up through the spine. Hands to prayer heart center. Inhale, lift your left knee to the chest. Pull the toes back to the face so you have that drawing back of the toes. Lean the body forwards. Keep that left knee bent. Send the heel back up to the sky behind you. So hold yourself there. You can keep the hands in prayer if you like, or stretch them back, whatever's best for you. If you stretch them back, it gives you the chance to activate the back of the shoulders as well. So you can squeeze the shoulder blades, pull the shoulder blades back, and then release. Step that left foot, slide it behind the right foot. Chin to chest, roll down through the spine. Stretching around the outside of the hips, the back of the legs, a little bit more into the ITB band than just the hamstrings. Let the body fold. Breathe in. Relax into it. Breathe out. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath here. Look beyond your mat. Stretch the hands out. The weight is into your right foot. The left leg reaches back. Draw a long line back with that left leg. So really try and push it back. If you're rounding through the spine, take a little bend in the knee and lift your chest. So if you feel like you haven't got the space, then just soften the bend in the knee and lift the chest forwards. Bring the left foot, place it next to the right foot. You're going to bend your knees so much you bring the hips all the way down to the ground. And then soles of the feet together. Not so close in, give yourself some space. Knees out to the side. Reach the hands forwards. So stretch and lengthen forwards through the spine. Bow the chin into the chest and just fully relax through the upper body. I'd like your forearms to come down to the floor. So if that means you have to bring them closer to the body, try and relax your forearms down. So you're not holding or suspending the arms in space. Chin in. Back of the shoulders relax. Inhale. And exhale. Breathing in. And breathing out. And then slowly rise all the way up. Keep the left knee bent. Stretch your right leg out. And bring the left foot in a little closer so it sits to the inside of the right thigh. Take a gentle twist, so right hand across the body to the left knee, left hand behind. Inhale, lift tall, and then exhale, let yourself twist. So inhale, grow an inch, and then exhale, twist. Look a little further back behind you. Inhale, lift. And exhale, twist. Come all the way through center. Just derotate, so just look over your right shoulder. And bring it back. Keep the right leg where it is. Lift your left leg up. I'm going to twist so I can see you better. So lift that leg up. Hold on to the right foot and hold on to the left knee. And just start to cradle and rock into that left hip socket. If you're quite comfortable there, take your right arm, wrap it round the shin. So my left foot is sat in the crook of my elbow. And I'm elbowed to draw the leg in a little closer. So get more work into the outside of the hip. One more breath. And then exhale. Place that leg down, just back where it came from. Twist to the left side a little, so you're extending over that left leg, and then lean forwards over the left thigh. So see where you can get to. See if you can send that chest down towards the thigh. Maybe the chin comes in line with the knee. Back of the neck softens a little, so you don't need to look where you're going. The gaze can be down to the ground. Inhale. And exhale. Breathe in. And breathe out. Walk your hands back up. Keep the left leg where it is. Point your right toes back behind you. So make sure the right foot isn't sticking out to the side. Right toes need to be pointing to the wall or the window behind you. Left hand comes to the left side of the body, just out to the side. Reach your right arm up to the sky. And then push your hips upwards and forwards. So stretch your hips forwards. There's a back bend and opening through the hips, across the pelvis, stretching up and back. And then slowly lower it down. And we'll just switch. So release both legs. Keep the left leg out and bring the right leg in. Start by taking a gentle twist over to the right. So left hand comes across to the right knee. Gives you somewhere to drive against. Inhale, tall. Exhale, drive to open. Inhale, tall. Exhale, twist. Last breath in. And exhale. Bring it back to center. Just take a little look over the left shoulder. And then lift your right leg in. So hold the foot and the knee to start with. You'll find one hip moves a lot less than the other hip, or one moves easier. So just notice which hip is tight, which doesn't move as well. And some of that is down to, you know, when you sit with your legs crossed and you throw one leg over, one leg gets a lot more stretch and the other sits still. So if you are someone that crosses your leg, just notice if you're in the habit of only bringing it over on one side. Ideally, try and not cross the legs when you sit. This causes like an imbalance in the sacrum, in the back. Maybe take it all the way up so it sits in the crook of the elbow, like you're rocking a baby. And then when you're ready, place that leg down, turn a little in your seat so you face the left side and take the body forwards. So the chest comes down. Ideally trying to rest the belly to the top of the thigh. So I want to avoid this big open space here, but instead send the lower back forwards so the belly meets the thigh. Inhale and exhale. Breathe in and breathe out. Take a full breath and exhale. Work yourself up. Keep the right leg where it is. This time, point your left toes back behind you. Again, just make sure they're not sticking out to the side, but they're actually pointing back. Take your right hand beyond the right hip, out to the side. Reach your left arm up to the sky. And then drive down into the shins to lift the hips upwards and forwards. Open across the pelvis, through the hips, through the front of the body. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Slowly let the hips come down. Take both legs out in front of you and just give them a bit of a shake or wriggle around. And then point the toes, make one strong leg, reach the arms out, tuck the tailbone under, start to roll down through the spine. So curl yourself down, pulling the belly button in, rolling down to the floor. Doesn't matter if you fall as we get to the end. Stretch the arms overhead. Interlace your fingers, push the heels of the hands away. So push through the hands, point through the toes. And then lift your hands, lift your shoulders, and take them slightly to the right side of your mat. So you have a bit of a side stretch through the left side of the body. So you're kind of taking a bit of a banana shape to the right side. Lift back up, come through center, and take it over to the left. Bit more side stretch through the right. And then lift back to center. Rest the upper body down, take the arms down by the side. Place the feet to the floor. Start by just tucking your tailbone and then lying your lower back down to the ground, pulling the belly in, so flattening through the front of the body, trying to keep that inward connection. Push into the heels, push into the toes, and roll your hips up to the sky. So lift your hips up towards the sky, pushing the feet down, creating a long line from the knees to the hips, to the shoulders. Really grip the mat with the toes. Push into the heels. Notice how that creates more strength, more awareness in the back of the legs and the back of the hips. See if you can keep lifting. So challenge yourself to keep driving the hips up to the ceiling. See if you can get stronger and a bit higher. Holding for 3, 4, 2. On 1, roll that down slowly. So don't rush. I want you to really take your time, lowering the spine down to the floor. It's a really slow, gentle roll all the way down to the ground. Finally, rest your hips. Take the arms out to the side. So spread your arms. Use as much space as you can. And then step your right leg all the way over the left so the knees cross. You're just then going to rock both knees to the left side of the room and gaze over to the right side. So you get a bit more twist through the spine and through the right hip. Inhale. As you exhale, try and push that right shoulder blade down to the ground. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath. And let it go. Slowly, carefully bring it back to center. Place your right foot down, lift your left leg over the right leg. Let both knees rock all the way over to the right. Gaze to the left side. Inhale. Melt that left shoulder down this time as you exhale. So the more you can connect the left arm down to the ground, the more weight through that left side, the more twist as we take that left knee over. And then bring it back to center. Release both legs. Just give yourself a hug, bring the knees into the chest. And then I want you to place your feet wider than you normally would, so about mat width apart. Let your knees rock inwards. Let the knees support one another. Place the hands on the belly like we started. Sink your shoulders. Get comfortable through the back of the body. Really let the weight of the head relax into the ground. And just finish the practice by connecting with the breath as we started. And just coming back to that place. Done the physical stuff, we've done the harder stuff. But now just enjoy the stillness. So we get the physical benefits from the movement, and we get the mental benefits from this time of stillness. Try not to rush. Notice how easy the breath is. And notice the clarity in the mind. Hold on to that. Start to walk the feet a little bit closer to one another. So they were out to the side before. Bring the feet so they're next to each other. Just let your body roll all the way over to the left side. So your right hand will come down in front of you. Just lie on your left side for a moment, relaxing through the left side of the body. And then push down into your right hand. Slowly come up to a seat with the eyes closed if you can. Try not to rush. Opening the eyes, cross the legs, sit tall. Place the hands either just in the lap or on the knees. Inhale, we'll take one shoulder roll, draw them all the way up and pull them all the way down. Reach the arms to the sky. Notice that space in the side of the body. Notice the length. And then bring the hands into prayer heart center. Bow your chin into the chest. Thank yourself for coming to practice this morning. Not that anyone has anywhere else to go. You're trapped with me.